Have you ever opened a book and felt like it was reading you? In a quiet, dusty study, a young seeker finds a strange leather-bound volume titled *A Vision*. As the pages turn, they seem to whisper. Ancient symbols spiral off the paper, and one name glows with a faint, unnerving light. Yeats. William Butler Yeats. He was no prophet, at least not in the way we think of one. He was a poet of inversion. A master craftsman of words who saw the world not through divine revelation, but through intricate occult riddles. He didn't point people towards the light. He twisted it, reshaped it, and offered it back as something new, something seductive. His poetry wasn't just about beauty. For some, it was bait. This journey into Yeats' world is a journey into the heart of mystical societies like the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Imagine a hidden ritual chamber. The seeker, now an initiate, stands before an altar adorned with arcane symbols. A figure appears not in darkness, but cloaked in a light that flickers like a restless flame. This is the Whisperer. Elegant, elusive, promising everything. He offered knowledge, but not truth. He promised power, but never peace. The seeker learned the secret words to invoke, to ascend the planes, to feel a sense of control over the spiritual world. But the light they were bathed in was not holy. It was hollow. The spirits that answered their calls had shifting faces, their smiles never quite reaching their eyes. The seeker's own eyes began to glow with a false fire, a prideful light that came from the illusion of command. The whisperer never needed to name himself. His fruits made his identity clear. The power felt real, but it was a carefully constructed cage, and the seeker was holding the blueprints, thinking they were the architect. This path, paved with beautiful words and esoteric rituals, leads to a terrifying vision. Not in the chamber, but in the desert of the soul. The seeker witnesses a creature, a rough beast, slouching toward Bethlehem to be born. This wasn't the Lamb of God, it wasn't the returning king. This was the monstrous birth of a new age, an age of chaos, born directly from Yeats's pen and his spiritual rebellion. Yeats wrote about it in his famous poem, The Second Coming. He saw it first. Not the return of Christ, but the rise of chaos. Not redemption, but a complete inversion of it. The beast was his muse, and frighteningly, many followed. They saw in his poetry a sophisticated intellectual spirituality, a way to be enlightened without submitting to a creator. They didn't realize that the poetic banners they were marching under were leading them straight into the shadow of the beast. In a horrifying moment of clarity, the seeker looks into the beast's eye and sees their own reflection. The power they thought they were wielding was never theirs to begin with. It was the beast's all along, and they were just its instrument. But the story doesn't end in that desert of despair. After the noise of the ritual and the roar of the beast, there is silence. The scene shifts to a quiet hill, bathed in the simple light of dawn. A different figure stands there. No elaborate robes, no mystical riddles. It's a watchman, holding a lantern in one hand and a simple, well-worn Bible in the other. He stands on the solid ground of truth. His voice isn't a whisper, it's clear and steady. You sought to control what you were meant to worship, he says to the seeker. You followed a poet who dressed rebellion in rhythm and rhyme. But the true light does not slouch towards a corrupted birthplace. It does not hide in riddles. It stands, it has always been standing. In that moment, the choice becomes clear. The seeker casts down the leather-bound book of visions. The elaborate symbols and beautiful lies turn to dust. The terrifying image of the beast vanishes like smoke in the morning sun. The watchman opens the scriptures, and a pure, warm light pours out, not a flickering, hollow flame, but a steady, life-giving radiance. This is the climax of the story: redemption. A seeker finally chooses surrender over control, truth over mysticism, and Christ over chaos. Yeats may have been a master of language, but his elegant rebellion was a path away from the truth, a beautiful trap for the soul. The real journey isn't about gaining power, but about finding the one who already has it all. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content that seeks to uncover the truth. See you next time.